But I think it comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth. And basically handing you a nomination. You didn't have to go through a primary process. You didn't have to fight off other contenders. That's not really the way our system was intended to work.
President Biden made a decision that I think history is going to show is rare among leaders, which was for our democracy.
But I think this truncated process is why people think or say they don't really know who you are.
Look, I've been in this race for 70 days.
Wow, that was absolutely brutal. So last night, Kamala Harris did the 60 Minutes interview on CBS. And folks, I don't know if this reporter was purposely trying to end her political career or not, but that is what he was busy doing while just poking and prodding and asking the right questions. In my opinion, just doing proper journalism here. But that is a shocker, right? And to be fair, I don't think Kamala Harris was prepared for this. I don't think she was expecting this because she went in probably thinking she was going to get the CBS news of the vice presidential debate the other week, but instead, this reporter right here completely flipped the script on her and just called out her lies on a few key issues that she simply was not prepared for. So we will react to it and talk about it all in today's video. But first, folks, do me a big favor. If you enjoy our content, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel by hitting that red button down below. Your subscription goes a long way in ensuring we can keep bringing you videos like this. It is obviously election year, and it also helps fight back against the censorship of the YouTube algorithm. It's free. All you got to do is hit that red subscribe button down below. And with that said, I mean, let's just start here. There's a lot to talk about, but take a listen as the CBS reporter tries to bring up this whole question of what gun she owns, right? Because suddenly out of nowhere, after being one of the most anti-gun politicians in the entire Democrat Party for a very long time, she suddenly invented this new line where she's a gun owner, she has a gun. The reporter tries to grill her on this, and take a listen for yourself.
That's not the first time I've talked about it.
So what kind of gun do you own, and when and why did you get it?
I have a Glock, and I've had it for quite some time.
Don't talk so much. Listen more. You are full of sanctimony. You're incredibly repetitive.
And I mean, look, Bill, my background is in law enforcement. And so there you go.
Have you ever fired it?
Yes. Of course I have. At a shooting range. Yes, of course I have.
Now, look, you can judge for yourself whether or not you think Kamala is being honest. In fact, feel free to comment your thoughts down below. But to me, just by body language, just by demeanor, just by the fake laugh, of course I've shot the gun. Yeah, it's a Glock. Yeah, the most common gun because that's in all the rap songs or something.
And then best rapper alive.
Tupac.
He's not alive. You said he lives on.
But not a lot. I know. I keep doing that.
You said
I don't know, okay? But you break this down. She's never talked before about owning a gun. I mean, she can go say that. Okay, show me the receipts. When did she say in the past talking about owning a gun and specifically this Glock? And she says her background is in law enforcement as if she was ever a police officer in the field who was trained and qualified at the police academy. That's not true. She was a prosecutor. Okay, she was not going around in the streets chasing after the bad guys. That is total and complete nonsense. She went to law school, but whatever. That is far from the most damning part of this interview. We're about to get to some clips here that are a lot worse, but I wanted to just start there kind of light because even on a question like that, again, to me, it's not super convincing, but you can be the judge of that. Okay, now here's where this interview really gets good because, you know, Kamala Harris obviously talking so much about preserving democracy. So the CBS host follows up on that with a very simple question, which is, if you're so about democracy, and Republicans have said this, but finally she's forced to confront it, and you can tell she was not ready for it. You say you're about democracy, and yet you were the most undemocratically nominated candidate in history. Take a listen. This is brutal. This is really bad.
Was democracy best served by President Biden stepping down and basically handing you a nomination? You didn't have to go through a primary process. You didn't have to fight off other contenders. That's not really the way our system was intended to work.
Look at her face. Because, look, they have furiously media trained her for so many different questions, but I don't think she was ready for this one, right? Because this is the type of question only you would think Fox News would ask or something. You say you're about democracy, you didn't get a single vote. He asked the question in kind of a softball way, but still, she's like, oh, shoot, I've never had to address this before. Let's see what she has to say.
President Biden made a decision that I think history is going to show is rare among leaders, which was to put country before self. And I am proud to have earned the support of the vast majority of delegates and to have been elected the Democratic nominee. I am proud to have received the endorsement of leaders around this country from every background and walk of life to fight in this election over the next month for our democracy.
But I
Actually, let's do the Kamala laugh.
think this truncated process is why people think or say they don't really know who you are.
Look, I've been in this race for 70 days.
Wow, yeah, that's just such a long time period. Oh my gosh, that was bad. Folks, that was really bad. Okay, you could just tell by her face she was stunned by that question. She had no clue what to say. By the way, she did not actually address it. Oh, her response was literally, I got the endorsement of the Democrat Party elite. Yeah, that's not the point. Talking about democracy. Again, Kamala Harris did not win a single vote from anyone in the 2024 Democrat primary, anyone in terms of voters in this country. And yet she's out there saying she's going to save democracy. She doesn't even know what to say to that. Like, she literally does not know what to say to that. And then her response is, well, a lot of people say they don't know me, but I've been in this race for 70 days. Yeah, that's such a long time period because in American elections, it is totally normal to just magically introduce yourself as a candidate in July, right before election year, right? Amazing question, terrible answer. You love to see it. She has nothing to say about this because she knows she's not a pro-democracy candidate. Is such nonsense. Now take a listen as 60 Minutes is about to confront her on the issue of illegal immigration. I told you, even if they're asking them in softball ways, which they are in fairness, but they're bringing still in substance, in content, the hardball questions, and you love to see it.
I've been covering the border for years, and so I know this is not a problem that started with your administration.
Correct.
But there was an historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border the first 3 years of your administration. As a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long...
Look at her again. She's like, what is happening right now? I thought this network did nothing but worship me. I mean, folks, the new 60 Minutes host might be getting a pink slip by the end of this week. Who knows? Okay? Because this is way off course from what we originally were expecting here. But
standing problem. And solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
That's not true.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the numbers today, because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by half.
But should you
we
have
have
done
cut
that?
the
Should you
flow
have
of
done that?
fentanyl by half, but we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
You guys, as he brought up there, you guys literally created the problem because on day one, you repealed the Trump era policies when it came to immigration that brought us pretty record lows of people coming across the border. But anyways, I mean, I don't think we need to beat a dead horse here. Obviously, immigration is already a losing issue for Kamala. She has been asked about that before. I really did like that democracy question, though, because I don't think anyone has ever brought that one up. But lastly, here, it is worth noting that this same guy did ask Tim Walz a couple questions, and one of them included why you are such a dirty and pathological liar. And take a listen to Tim Walz's excuse. You may have heard this line before.
In your debate with J.D. Vance, you said, I'm a knucklehead at times. And I think you were referring to the time that you said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
Yeah.
Is that kind of misrepresentation, isn't that more than just being a knucklehead?
I think folks know who I am, and I think they know the difference between someone expressing emotion, telling a story, getting a date wrong by rather than a pathological liar like Donald Trump.
This guy's calling anyone else a pathological liar, okay? It's not that just that he got a date wrong. He fabricated that aspect of the story to make himself sound better for political gain, okay? Let's not forget that. It's not that he just messed up a year. He said, oh, I was there in 1989, but I was really there in 1988. No, he made up an entire fake story about how he was there in the middle, basically, right? He was there in China during the Tiananmen Square protests. That's different, right? That's like a deliberate statement you make. Same thing when it comes to all the war record as a veteran that he makes up, or the fact that his children were conceived by IVF because he thinks it's going to score him political points when it comes to abortion. Yeah, ordinary people do not do this, okay? Oh, I'm just an ordinary guy. I make up pathological lies to further my career. Really? Yeah, that's so relatable to everyone, right?
I think it comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, I can. I think I can. I will own up to being a knucklehead at times, but the folks closest to me know that I keep my word.
You know, it's just such a bizarre response to this. I've never seen a politician do this, and I don't know, maybe it'll work for him. Who knows, honestly. Let's run it by some focus groups. But I'm going to venture to guess. When you're pressed on like, hey man, why are you such a pathological liar? Your response is to, first of all, admit to lying, and then just say, oh, I'm so silly. You know, everyone does that. Everyone manipulates people for political gain. That's going to go over so well with voters. And you know for a fact this is a crafted talking point because not only did you hear it at the VP debate, you heard it here again. This is what they are telling Tim Walz to say, which is admit to people that you're a liar, but just spin it as saying, yeah, that's why I'm such a relatable, ordinary guy. Again, I don't know. Maybe they ran this by a focus group and they say this is the best response, but it's very odd to me, okay? But with that said, shout out, I guess, to this probably liberal, like mainstream media journalist for at least trying to ask some of the hard questions, although much like CNN did when they had the chance to interview Kamala, but then afterward they ferociously criticized her. You know, it would have been nice to see some of this fact-checking or accountability for Tim Walz at the VP debate on CBS the other night, since they were so obsessed with intervening on his behalf and intervening to try to fact-check J.D. Vance, and then they got fact-checked themselves. You know, would be nice to see this consistency from CBS when there's actually a very large national audience watching. But that said, I guess better late than never. This interview was a disaster. Okay, this was an absolute disaster. But with that said, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. And until next time, be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. God bless, have a very great day, and peace.